at the various tiles. What do you think of such tiles? After watching the process of making tiles in China, I finally understand why Musk is saying that China is the leader in global ceramics. Musk is not wrong at all. Just a floor tile requires dozens of processes before and after, and choose super grade mud to press it. Its craftsmanship is enough to beat European and American high precision. What comes into view is ceramic clay and quartz powder. This is also the main raw material in this production. The first step in making tiles, workers will first put the stone in the ball mill. Refinement is accomplished by rolling friction. Then add an appropriate amount of water to dilute the clay. At this time, the mud will flow into the tanks on both sides. It relies on the high-frequency jitter of the device to filter it by hand. To remove iron from the mud, iron impurities and larger lumpy particles. The filtered puree then flows into underground storage tanks. The mud is then pumped out by a powerful suction pump on one side and transported to the mid-level screening storage box. Then keep stirring to mix the mud with the water. About to enter the process of dehydration with the strictest environmental inspection. The plunger mud pump in the picture will inject the completed suction and discharge through high pressure, and alternately purify the water will come to the spray drying tower in front of you. The tower will precisely adjust the temperature and humidity of the particles, so that the raw material becomes an average level of only about 6% moisture. Then the excess impurities in the particles are screened out. Only the particles are full. Clay materials with consistent moisture will continue to be transported forward, then transported to the storage tank in batches by the conveyor belt. It is a large tank and dozens of meters high in front of you. With this equipment, both the storage of raw materials can be improved. It can also improve the flow rate of stone powder during transportation, match the various required raw materials, and then screened again through multiple filters. The remaining major particles will be ruthlessly removed. Then it is transported to the front through the conveyor belt. In the long and narrow workshop, it will go through multiple sets of transportation. Now comes the important part of this round. Press molding. The tin cans on the equipment are used to store clay. The plastic tubing attached is used to lay the clay. Spread a piece from left to right and press down. Let's take a look at the details of the screen. When the particles cover the diamond mold, the upper hydraulic system vibrates and presses down. You can see the bottom pattern clearly. In the blink of an eye, one side of the tile was suppressed. And these tiles move along very slowly on these rollers. Until after this special link in front of you. You read that right. Several high-power illumination lamps are installed on the transmission platform. This is similar to a household Uber. The heated bulb above is irradiating the tiles. Let's start the first round of firing. The tiles will be transported into the kiln by the roller. This is a huge kiln with a length of 500 meters and 208 knots. The tiles it fires are extremely delicate. Let's take a look at the effect after the first round of firing. Obviously, the color has changed dramatically at this time. Looks darker than the original color. Continue forward transportation after cooling through cooling. There are not many workers in the huge factory building. Automation equipment has also increased production efficiency several times over. I have to say that the development of today's enterprises is spraying water on the tiles. The purpose of spraying water is to glaze. A wet surface makes the all layer stronger, fit more evenly. And these glazes are also made of mud. It's just that it's made up of high territory. That's what we call clay. And high-quality high territory is not all you can dig anywhere. Therefore, there will be a huge difference in the price of tiles. The machine will polish evenly before the right layer is dry, so as to remove the excess right layer on both sides. This will make the tiles more neat. It is also more convenient when pasting floor tiles. Just having a right layer is not enough, so let's start printing tiles. The printing pattern is not uniform. Various patterns can be designed by computer and apply a variety of different colors. And now the printed tiles. The pattern on the surface is clearly visible and looks extremely delicate, beautiful when matched with paint. Then it goes through a long conveyor belt, and the worker only needs to observe whether the tiles have been uniform. It looks pretty relaxed. It's definitely not tiring to work in a factory like this. I just don't know what the salary level is. Now begins the second round of firing. The temperature of this round will be slightly higher than that of the previous round. It gets up to about 1,200 degrees centigrade. Now let's see how the finished product is after firing. The surface is as white as delicate jade. Color, hierarchical. It's hard to imagine that a single tile can be made so delicately. To be honest, there are really no workers in this factory, whether transported or fired. It's basically automated. As for the quality inspection process, it is also completed by machinery. Belts at the rear are carried forward in sequence, then go through the high and low gentle slopes to check whether the tiles are cracked. Seems to be quite efficient. The right floor is seen by the naked eye of the worker. If you see uneven colors, broken edges can be picked out directly. Then enter the packaging process. That's right, the same is done by the machine itself. Compared to the previous set of assembly line equipment, this one looks smarter. The quality will also be greatly guaranteed during transportation. Don't worry about the edge bumping and damage at all. Ship to the front as the package is stuffed in. Start winding the tape and wrap both sides at the same time. The speed has increased a lot. Finally, let's talk about why some tiles are so hard. That's because other materials are added to the right layer than the raw material. For example, it's extremely crack resistant. That must be harder than pure clay tiles. Look at the various tiles. What do you think of such tiles?